Welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. The 3 keys to your success is just moments away. Here's your host, Brian Kelly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a fantastic show. I cannot wait to share this amazing woman. Her name is Stephanie Liu with you, with our audience, with the world, because she needs to be shared. And that is because she is amazing, beyond amazing, one of the most gifted individuals I've come across in a long time. You see her everywhere you go. I mean, literally online and offline. And she is somebody who is a go-getter. And that's one of the big reasons I can't wait to bring her on. And there's so many more. And we will dive into that deep tonight. I am so excited. The Mind Body Business Show. What is that all about? Well, in my 55 years on this planet, I would say over the last decade, I actually began studying just those people who had reached that level of success that I aspired to reach, much higher than myself at the time. And I began noticing patterns over this decade of time. And these are people that I knew personally, mentors, others that I would read from on books, others that I would go and attend their seminars and networking events, and others that I've interviewed over the years. And these 3 patterns just kept coming over and over and over, that these were the things that helped catapult them and help them sustain and increase their success over time. And you might guess what those 3 are. They're on either side of me. It's right. Mind, body, and business. Mind really mean mindset. Oh, and I am so excited because our guest expert, Stephanie Liu, knows all about this. And that is one of the reasons she has reached the pinnacle of success, and she's still going higher that she has thus far. Mindset is about having a powerful, positive, empowering, and flexible mindset so you can deal with everything that goes on day to day in your business and your personal life. And then there's body, and that's literally taking care of yourself from the outside and the inside. And that means through regular exercise. That means through nutrition, both food and drink. And to a person, everyone that I studied that had achieved that level of success took care of themselves. Now, look, I'm not saying you have to be absolutely perfect in all these areas. It's just that you make these areas a priority. And that's the key, making them a priority. Then you will start to see greater success in your own life. And it's just a pattern. It's a model. You just have to model it. Just follow it. That's it. It's simple. And then business. Oh boy, that one is multifaceted. There are things like marketing, team building, sales, systematizing, leadership, scaling. The list goes on and on. And the key is to master all 3 of these primary areas, mind, body, business. With business, it's very difficult to master every aspect of business. It truly is. And the good news with that is if you just master one of those traits that I mentioned, and that would be leadership, well, then you're set, because now you can delegate to those who have the skill sets already that you may not have or lack in, because it would take a lifetime to master every skill set that goes into business. Then you're set. And then you can become as successful as many people, just like our guest expert who's coming on very shortly. And one final thing I noticed, and it kind of goes along the mind aspect, and that is most of these successful people were very, very voracious readers of books that helped them, not just any old book. I'm not saying it's not okay to read a fiction book and enjoy yourself and be entertained on occasion. There's nothing wrong with that. But the focus of these individuals were those in the area of business, of personal development, and so on. And all the 3 categories you're looking at right now, mind, body, business, that's where they would read. And so with that, I'd like to segue into a short segment I like to affectionately call Bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, there you see it, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. By the way, real quick, please do not run off to another tab on your browser and type that in. Rather than do that, let's do something old-fashioned together. Remember one of these? It's called a piece of paper and that old-fashioned instrument known as a pen or a pencil. Do yourself a favor and grab one of each if you can, or bring up notepads separately on your computer, but make sure you can still see and watch us. If you're watching on a phone, pen and paper are best if you have access to it. And here's the reason why I bring that up. The reason is that the magic happens in the room. Now, I've done many, many seminars from stage, and I've seen people get up from their chair during a session, walk out either to take a phone call or maybe to go to the restroom. And then that's the moment where the magic happened and they missed it. And I would hate for that to happen for you. So as a favor to yourself, get out a pen and paper and do take notes. I'm the host of the show and I take a lot. I fill up a page every single show. I'll show it to you later. And the key is stick with us. So write these resources down. I know Stephanie is going to have a lot of them to offer, and write them down and then visit them after the show is over. Sound cool? All right, let's go. So reachyourpeaklibrary.com. I literally built this with you in mind, the entrepreneur, the business person that's looking for additional success to increase their level of serving others. And what I did was I started reading voraciously only about 10 years ago, not long ago. And I started listening on Audible. And as I did, each one that I thought had profound effect on me, or that did definitely have profound effect on me, either through business or personal development, I put in this list. So currently there are only 40 in here, and I'm way behind on updating this list. But it is a great place to start if you haven't started reading. And if you already are reading, it's a great place to continue. You might find a book or two in here that you yourself have never read before. And so the good news with this is these are all personally vetted by yours truly. So you can at least rest assured that at least one other successful person has vetted the books. And so your probability of not wasting your time really increases. And that's why it's there for you, to help you have a more efficient and productive life and business. Speaking of efficient and productive and wildly successful and incredible and amazing, it's time to bring on the star of the show. Here she comes.
It's time for the guest expert spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there she is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Stephanie Liu. How are you doing this evening, Stephanie?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Woo, I am beyond ecstatic for tonight. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you coming on. I think we virtually met during another live that you were involved with. I think you were a guest of that live. And I appreciate you just saying yes. And that's one of the key elements with being a successful entrepreneur. And it's also knowing when to say no as well. And what I wanted to do real quick, Stephanie, before I actually formally bring you on, is let our viewers know, those that are watching live, if you stay on to the end, you will find out a way to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, lots of fives there, in Mexico, or you can choose a different resort of your choosing. There are many to choose from. And this is all compliments of our good friends at powertexting.com. We give away a trip every single show. And by the way, to be sensitive to what's going on now, don't worry. When you win, you can wait to execute the order of that vacation till a time is right for everyone to travel. So sound good? So, hey, that will give you something to look forward to when the veils have been pulled away and you're free to move about the country once again. All right. So let's bring on Stephanie formally, and then we're going to have a great time. Stephanie Liu is a digital marketing strategist that combines the power of human behavior and live video. This is powerful stuff, people. After launching Lights, Camera, Live, she has helped thousands of marketers successfully build their brand and bottom line with live streaming. Stephanie has been featured in Forbes and has spoken at Social Media Marketing World. That's a big deal. VidCon, another big deal. And the Midwest Digital Marketing Conference, 3 big deals in a row. She's also the co-author of the upcoming book, The Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing. I've been waiting for this for quite some time. I am so excited to bring to you and formally introduce to you the one and only Stephanie Liu. She is amazing. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey. So happy to be here. I know it's been a while. We've been like ramping up for this for so long, and now it's here. Yeah.
It's so fun to get to do what I do, because, you know, I get to watch people like you from the sidelines, and I watch some of your lives. You're everywhere. And I love that about you, because it shows that you are a hustler in a good way. You know, you hustle, you work the business. You're not just a hobbyist. There's no doubt you're not just a hobbyist. You're out there speaking on stage. You have booths at conferences. This takes time, money, and investment, ladies and gentlemen. And she's gotten to that point because she just kept going, kept working hard, and stayed the course and was disciplined and everything that goes into it. We're going to go into some of these. And one of the other things I love about you, Stephanie, is you are not just NLP certified. And that's neuro-linguistic programming. For those of you that are unfamiliar, write that down and take notes and look at that up later. And she not only knows it and is certified in it, she also holds courses where you can become certified in neuro-linguistic programming. And that's the key, is not just learning. So this is Stephanie. She learned it. Then she did it. And now she teaches it.
Yeah.
That is how you fully integrate something that you've just learned. And I recommend everyone do it. Whether or not you even decide to do NLP as a business or as a coach, I've done the same thing through a different mentor, and I have no regrets whatsoever. It was the absolute best thing I've done in my life. So we will give you connection information for Stephanie later toward the end of the show. If you're interested, she's in the San Diego area right now, and she's actually got something coming up really soon. I can't wait to talk about that. Yes. So I love the accolades. I mean, look at all the wonderful things you've done. Speaking on stage, those are always big, huge. And that really tells not just everyone listening, but me as well, that you're a player. I mean, you're out there, you're doing it. You're making a difference. To get on stages that aren't your own, that is not always the easiest thing to do. And those are big stages. So congratulations, number one. And number two, thank you. Thank you for doing that, because I've seen clips of you on stage and you just are an amazing speaker. I'll just say it. But what I wanted to do is, in addition to understanding your accolades from the physical upper level, I'd like to dig deep into the brain, that beautiful brain of yours, Stephanie, because you have it of the NLP. You've cleaned out that beautiful garden of all those weeds using NLP. It's flourishing. It's obvious. And so being an entrepreneur can be difficult. I mean, let's face it. It's not all, tiptoeing through the tulips every single day. There are things that knock us back, and it can take a lot. It can take a lot to keep that positive attitude. And for you, what is it that you do to maintain a positive, productive mindset that keeps you going on a regular basis and helps you not only sustain your current level of success, but continue to grow it?
One of the things that I loved the most when I was getting trained in NLP is that my trainer had taught me this saying, and it's something that he wanted us to say every single night before we went to bed. And it was, "Dear unconscious mind, you know the suggestions that are good for me and those that are bad. So keep the ones that are good and delete and erase the ones that are bad." And I think that is just so important, because as we go about our day, we get so many different marketing messages, whether you're just sitting in the car and you're listening to the radio and you're hearing about what's happening out there. And then you're scrolling in your news feed on Facebook, on Twitter, you're getting all these messages. And so just to tell your mind, of all these 11 bits of information, I want you to focus on what's most important to helping me actually reach my goals. And so just having that, I think, has really helped me understand there's so many distractions in this world. And if you really want to get to where it is that you want to be, then you have to focus your attention there, because where your attention goes, energy flows. And I think that's what's been really helpful, not only just for me, but for my family as well. Because Brian, we were even talking about how I have a little one in the house. We say that same thing every single night, because whether she's with me or not, I don't know if she's watching something on YouTube and they're just, they're trying to give her new toys that she needs to buy in order to feel better, in order to feel happier, right? So if I could clear that out, and every day we have a clean new slate of new positive suggestions that she could take on and try it on and be like, okay, this is going to be me, right? I think that's the first thing, really, is taking care of that mindset.
I could not agree more. And that's why the order of the words of this show, Mind, Body, Business, that I did not know or learn until roughly, it was 10 or 12 years ago. That dates are my Achilles heel. But it's been around a decade, a little more. And once I learned it, because, I used to go to all those seminars, I had all those lanyards from the badges. I mean, I've got a massive stack of them. I actually put them on stage to show a point about showing up. And I went to so many of these seminars, and finally, after taking a good break, I finally said I've had enough. And then I went back, and that's where I met my mentor for the first time. He was a guest speaker. He only had a few minutes on stage compared to the main speaker. I rushed to the back, signed up for his 2-day seminar, and the rest now is history. Just learned so much. He taught me, and at a deep level, eventually, after I went through all the advanced courses, just how important mindset is.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, a lot of people talk, I am Christian, and a lot of people talk about being reborn in that way. This was being reborn on the physical earth to me, because it taught me so many things from a deep level. And I'm not going deep here. It's very simple science. It's just that it just completely helps you to do a 180 and get rid of the negativity, anything that's left. And we're humans. The negativity still comes up, but now you're aware, and you have the tools to change your course. And so, man, we could talk all night on NLP, Stephanie.
Yeah, we can.
It's such an amazing science, and I just want everyone to know it's a proven science. It works. There's nothing woo-woo about it. Some people will, I was one of those in the audience. I kid you not. I'm folding my arms. All right, let's see what you got, and it didn't take long because of the magic of pre-framing, which is another NLP approach that my mentor masterfully did on stage. And I realized, wow, it's actually going to be good for me. And I can't wait to take these courses. And anyway, and I'm bringing all that up because I would love for all of you, I don't train it, Stephanie does. And so I'd love to give you all the ability to connect with her, to see about coming to a course of hers coming near soon. And it's a small group gathering, so it'll be safe for the time being. We'll see how things work out as days go by. But just stop everything you're doing and learn NLP, no matter who it's from. But you've got somebody sitting in front of you right now that knows it deep. She is an amazing businesswoman, an amazing person. So she's the one to go to right now. San Diego. It's not that far if you're in California, but it doesn't matter how far it is. Fly. You can't right now, but we'll
San Diego. What's really nice about San Diego is that as soon as you say it, everyone's eyes just go wide and they're like, San Diego. Like, what's the weather like right now? I'm like, it's like 72 right now. I see the sun peeking in through the window, and like you could feel like the cool breeze just brushing against your skin. It's like, this is where you want to be.
It's only paradise in the United States. It's, no big deal. Hey, Eliza, coming from the Philippines. She's on the show often. Thank you for coming on and saying hi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, I opened the show by talking a little bit about reading, the importance of. That's another life changer. And I can only guess I know the answer to this already, but would you consider yourself to be one of those, an avid reader? Yeah, she's nodding emphatically.
Yeah.
What would you say to date? Doesn't have to be the one you're reading now. It could be, but all the way from the past till now, if you could recall, what would be that one book that had the greatest impact on you for either your business or your personal development?
7 Highly Successful Habits for Teens.
Ooh.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I was in the Associated Student Body, which is ASB for short. And so we were like the ones that planned the homecomings, the events. We made sure that like life on campus was fun. And so our ASB teacher, we would have a leadership boot camp. And that was one of the books that he gave us. It was 7 Habits of Highly Successful Teens. And it laid the foundation as far as your communication style, how you manage your relationships. And I remember, oh gosh, Ryan, I remember this one story, and it was called the Relationship Bank Account, right? And how you invest in other people and other people invest in you. And if you keep your promises and you fulfill your promises, then you're going to get a return on that investment, right? Because you can't break the bank if you're not actually investing in other people. And that was something that just always stuck by me. And it's something that I strongly believe that there are resources in relationships. And that first belief was installed in me back when I was in high school.
Wow, how fortunate! What a blessing, to have that kind of leadership, that kind of education back in high school. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
very fortunate. Yeah. You think back to like when you're in school, who are your role models, who helped shape you to be who you are today and what you read. And that's definitely a favorite book. I
Awesome.
actually still have it. To be very honest with you, I still have it. It's in the garage. It's on my bookshelf. I could already see it in my mind. It's like over here. Has all the highlights, has all the little notes that I put in the margins of like, oh, I like this. I never got rid of that book.
That's fantastic, because in about, around 8 years, there's someone you can pass that down to.
Oh, I know. That's so true.
Neat.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And that's the wonderful thing about reading books. So you can see what an impact it had on Stephanie at a very young age. And it doesn't matter when you start. I'm a product of that. I didn't start till about, I was 45-ish. I'm 55 now. And somewhere around there, I started reading voraciously and just, wow, what a, jeez, it was right in front of me all this time. And I had been given that advice by so many people. I just like, reading a book, come on. What can that do for you? Boy,
Oh, I love reading.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to dig in a little bit more about what got you into NLP. And then beyond that, what spurred you to create your own certification courses? Because that takes quite another level of effort to create your own courses as well.
That's a huge feat. It's a lot of time and dedication, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a lot of material to cover as well. I would say what kind of opened my eyes first to neurolinguistic programming, NLP, I worked at a digital agency. So Brian knows this. I spent the last decade and a half deep in the trenches of agency life, and I was always on the pitch team. And for those of you who don't know what the pitch team is, that's the A team. That's when you're about to win new business. You bring out like the all-stars. So the pitch team, we were trained in communication. We were trained in learning how to tell stories, how to present on stage, how to design a deck. But most importantly, we were trained in NLP because we wanted to learn how to ignite our ideas, be brilliant in the boardroom, and learn how to captivate on command. So going through NLP was one of those where I was like, no wonder, so many people have these miscommunications where they butt heads all the time because there's different representational systems. There's different ways that people communicate. There's different strategies for how someone comes to a decision from point A to point B, right? And so when I learned that, this was probably like 6-7 years ago. When I learned that, Brian, I was like, this is it. Where has this been my entire life, right? Do other agencies know this? Like, oh my gosh, don't tell them, right? And so many of us in the agency, interestingly enough, once we all got certified, we actually left and started our own companies. Like we are now other successful entrepreneurs, and we always come back and we're like, wow, do you remember that? It's great.
It's fantastic. It's incredibly empowering, right? And that's what happened with me as well. I had a business that I had just started back then in the fitness industry, but what it did was it catapulted my confidence level, my certainty level. And that's really what it comes down to, I think, for most people, is what is the degree of certainty for you to have before you will move forward.
Yeah.
And then with NLP, you're taught that you move forward with or without certainty, just knowing, because you know you have the skills, it'll be okay at the end.
Yes.
It's that's the deal the deal maker, not breaker, right there. And
it's a complete game changer. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I love that we're opening with NLP, because it truly is the foundation of everything that happens in your life. You are, in general, not you, Stephanie, you are, well, including Stephanie, where you are today is a direct result of your mindset. It's no one else's fault where you are. There's no one else driving your ship. You're making the decisions. You're either accepting people in your lives or you're rejecting people in your lives. Yeah. You're accepting job positions that you hate or love. Wherever you are, if you're successful or you're not, you are there because of yourself and this beautiful thing in your noggin. NLP helps you to reprogram it. You reprogram it just with guidance. And it's a simple science. It's not woo-woo. And it works fast. Yeah. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. The fact that it works so fast, especially like for me, where it was, it's not like one day I woke up and said, I'm going to do video. Right? Like most people don't feel that way. They got to like amp themselves up. They got to work through it. They got to like go through their limiting beliefs, take out that negative talk track, But once I did that 3 days, right, crash course in NLP, like complete game changer. I walked out of there a different person. It was like Stephanie 2.0. My husband was like, who are you? Right? Because I came home and I was like, these are all the goals. These are all the things that I want to do. And ever since then, it's like I check in with him. I'm like, dude, I crushed it. This is what I'm doing now. And he's just like, okay, go to the next one. Go to the next one. It's just, you go in as a practitioner and then a master and then a trainer, and that's how you integrate it. And that it just becomes a part of you.
Wow, you said something that just triggered a memory because, that was phenomenal.
The
So
2.0.
I would run seminars from stage for my mentor, and it was an NLP based company, and it was NLP for business. And that was one thing that I came up with. He didn't train me to say it, but I would tell everybody, you came in that door just moments ago as you. In 2 days, you're going to leave here as you, version 2.0. Exact. I was like, wow, this is phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, it's
worked.
true.
It's
true. It's absolutely true, because your whole thought process, it changes. You start to realize like what limiting beliefs that you had heard, whether it was something that you heard from your family members, something that you watched in a movie, even like childhood cartoons. And you're like, oh, I never realized that I developed a fear about this because I had watched this. And for some reason, it was embedded into my unconscious mind.
Yeah. And the repetition of growing up with no, and the imprint stages from 0 to 7 years old. And
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why, I had shifted in my career, having worked at an agency, right? I was working like 40 to 50 plus hours a week. And when I realized, hey, we're going to have another human being in this world, I knew, because I had studied cognitive psychology and child psychology in college, that 0 to 7 is the imprint area. And if anyone's going to install any values, beliefs, any of that stuff, it's going to be coming from mom and from dad. And that's why, like the whole dear unconscious mind, we say that every night.
Yeah. And so isn't that wonderful to have the ability to raise your own children, to not have to send them off somewhere where someone else is feeding them that negativity during those imprint stages? That's another great benefit of entrepreneurship and becoming successful enough to be able to do that. So It's not just becoming an entrepreneur is going to give you that, afford you that right. Just so you know, those of you watching and listening, you do need to work and put in the work. So if you're thinking of starting a family and you haven't yet, when would now be the right time to learn NLP? You got that one right away.
I did. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you learn so many wonderful things that it's become natural. I mean, rapport building, Stephanie. Oh yeah. My God. I mean, I've always loved people. I just didn't know how to interact with them. So I was always cast as being a shy person. And I thought, wow, if you only knew, but I didn't know how to interact. And then after I learned rapport building skills, again, it happens that quick. You do a little bit of practice, but it's fun. And now I feel like I'm everyone's best friend. You ride up the elevator. How many times have you gone up an elevator with, say, 5 to 10 people and it's just dead quiet and everyone's afraid to say anything? Yeah. Well, now I'm that guy. And I don't say something goofy, but it's kind of an icebreaker, and I get people to smile, and it just made their day for an instant a little bit better. And it made me happy, and that I could contribute to that.
That's good.
Talking to baristas, you can see they're in their day and they're in the grind. And I just, how are you doing? And give them eye contact and just
get them out of that the nice pattern interrupt of actually caring about somebody else.
Exactly.
Right? Because everyone is stuck inside their own trance, right?
Yes.
They wake up, get in the car, they do this, and they listen to all that marketing. But if you could get them out of there and be that ray of light, then man, that's the way to be.
Yeah, even just for a moment, just break that state of whatever internal hell they're going through at that moment, because you can see it on them sometimes. It's just like, oh, that poor, and you just know that they could use a little lift, and just do it with respect and have fun and just get to know them a little bit in the couple moments that you have with them.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree, Eliza. Stephanie does seem so nice. That's because she is. But the thing is, when you're in business, being nice can actually be a detriment. And there's a difference between being kind and being nice. And so, I doubt that Stephanie is nice all the time. I bet she's kind always. But, to be successful, nice is telling somebody they look great when they don't. and they really need somebody to kick them in the butt to tell them you better do something about it. That's nice, and it doesn't serve people. Just to put it in perspective. So I know you're a nice person, and I don't want to take away. And you're very kind, but just a little business moment there. Oh my gosh, she wrote us a book.
I'll let you read it. That way I'm not like looking down at the screen.
I agree. It's all in one mindset on how to stay focused. Also, not to think of too many things at the same time, just one at a time, so that we'll be able to focus and prioritize the most important things. In this way, it can help us get ourselves into the right track, knowing what we want and having this direction. Thank you, Eliza. That was good. That's the last.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. And then I wanted to move slightly over. You also, so you have this amazing NLP business.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call. Is it an academy? Do you have a term for it?
It's Captivate on Command, and it is an academy. So we're training practitioners of NLP and master NLP practitioners. I've also helped a lot of speakers. You and I were talking about this earlier, how speakers can integrate NLP into their presentations. That way they could be confident on stage, but also know how to tell a story that hooks an audience in, and knowing how to deliver a spellbinding presentation that by the time that you're done, they're like, I want to work with you. How can I be like you? So that's
and many people I know watching want to know how to be like you, Stephanie, right now. And that's because you've developed the skill sets. You know, you've put in the time, you invested your money. It's, you know, going through an NLP course actually it's quite draining. At least it was for me when we went through the main NLP portion. When we got to hypnosis, I was happy as heck because I got to take a miniature nap multiple times a day.
It's like a spa for your mind, isn't it?
It was awesome. You know, in the first half, it was NLP. We got another process coming up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I have the energy. This is like, oh my, it was a great kind of physical or mental draining. And then when the second course came, which was hypnosis, now we're going to do another process. Oh, fantastic. I get to relax. This is awesome.
Yeah. It's just getting you past that critical faculty where you're like, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? And then you're like, okay, just embed it. Just download it into my brain and then let's go ahead.
I'm glad you said that. For a better part of the first day, it was a 5-day course. The intro that I went to, the second one was 6. The hypnosis was 6. But I went through most of the first day and nothing was working for me. You know how you do the practitioner in the change chair. And when I was a practitioner, I see the other person go through this massive shift and they do it for me when I'm in the change chair, nothing. I'm like, what is going on? And my instructor says at one break, he says, so Brian, how's it going? I said, I got to be honest with you, man. I'm kind of freaking out. And he said, why? I said, I want this to work so bad, but it's not working. He goes, basically, he gave me some background, but he basically said, that's the problem. You want it to work so bad.
Because you said so bad. Because then your unconscious mind heard, okay, you want it to work so bad, so you want it to work badly. Yes. So then that's what I heard. Yeah And these are the things you learn. You pick up on language cues because the mind doesn't know the negative side of it, doesn't know no, and it's amazing. But the interesting thing was he shared with me a story where he went through it and was in day 2 and hadn't himself gone through a breakthrough for the first time, and he was literally walking out, leaving. And the instructor happened to be in the doorway, says, where are you going? And he told him, and then he did the same thing with him, and he became an instructor, and he helps change my life. So thank God that instructor stopped him too. So it's really cool that you brought that up, that, you know, you can get in your own way. And that's another thing. You learn how to get out of your own way. And when you do that, how liberating, right, Stephanie? It's absolutely amazing. Because again, you know, you wake up every day and you pick up the script on how to be Brian. And you know every chapter, you know every line of how to be Brian. And when someone comes in and says, hey, let's edit that. Let's take out pages and chapters that aren't helping you. You're like, wait a second. But this is my favorite book, you know? So it's always interesting.
It's interesting how we want to hang on to the definitions we've given ourselves of who we are.
Because it's our comfort zone. It's our comfort zone because that's what we know. Yeah.
And I have for some time, I'm deeply saddened when I see someone driving around with a vanity plate, license plate that has the name of a corporation that they work for on it.
Oh,
I'm like, you're living their dream, not yours. And you're letting that company define you. You know, and they'll wear the company uniform everywhere they go, you know, the hat, the shirt and everything. oh, you have so much more to offer. If only we could if I could just pull you aside for a little bit and just plant the seed, if nothing else,
Yeah.
just let you know there's so much more of you to give than you have any idea. It's so many people, the talents they have. And I came from corporate world. I was one of those. And I did not have
me too.
like,
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. I mean, but again, it's like, we talk about 0 to 7 being the imprint stage and so on. And it's different values that you have in your life. And this is like values level thinking. I learned this a lot from Dr. Adriana James. And she talks about like, we base our decisions based off of our values. And so people have different values levels that they go through. Claire Graves. And once you know what someone's values are, then you're able to respect their model of the world and you get to understand them, why they act and think the way that they do.
Yeah. And instead of just almost contradicting them literally into the way that you think, you can go with them and speak their language. And it's a much more copacetic, like nice, easy flowing conversation.
Yeah.
And then they feel you get them. And you're doing it with all integrity because you want to strike up a relationship with them. And now that you have the skills to do it, for those that you typically wouldn't have in the past, now you have it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to move on to your digital marketing strategist portion of your life. And here's the thing, Stephanie has been on stages with some pretty heavy hitting folks on some pretty large stages. As we opened up with like social media marketing world, I definitely got to get to that one. I haven't been to that one yet.
Yeah.
VidCon, I am booked to go to that one coming up later this year, and others. And I wanted to dig deeper into you and what you're doing on the digital marketing strategist realm on that front. What is it that you provide people for your clients? And how do you get, so it's digital marketing. So you're helping them to get eyeballs to their business, get them out there and get more sales. Can you briefly describe what that part of your business is all about, or that business that you're working in?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of brands that are struggling to become visible online. And so through my agency, we take them from unknown to unforgettable. And that's everything from whether it's you want to build a community, right? You want to build relationships online. There's no better way to do that than to leverage like live video, because you get all those happy brain chemicals. You get to build rapport with your audience. Now they want to have like a taste of you every time that you go live on camera. So I help my clients as well with community management, social media retainers, getting them from unknown to unforgettable. One of my favorite things to do. And Brian and we were talking about, well, what were you doing even before that? And I was like, well, my husband and I met because we worked at a digital agency. So my background is also in SEO and PPC. Very programmatic, very analytical. Those are things that I offer for clients. So whether it's social media, live video coaching, or doing paid media advertising, those are all the 3 things that I do as far as my business goes, right? That's like one revenue channel. And then there's speaking on stage, and then there's consulting.
Fantastic. So you are a multi-talented, multi-wonderful individual. And it's very obvious to everyone watching, I'm sure. More assumptive language, that was NLP right there. Just saying. Yeah. And the thing is, look what you've done. Look what you've accomplished. And here's a beautiful thing you brought up that I think a lot of people could resonate with, Stephanie. And that is, you really honed in a skill set, a talent, while holding a corporate position. And you've leveraged that into and integrated it into your overall business model now. And how wonderful is that to everyone listening? Think about what you're doing today if you're working that job. And many of you, unfortunately, are unable to even report to your place of business. And some of you don't have the ability to work from home based on what you do at that job. So think about that. What can you do? What can you do? Can you take the skills you've learned and make it into perhaps a business that you run from your home? Get clever, get creative, figure that out. Now's the time to do it. This is a time of opportunity.
It's so much easier these days, once you learn a skill set and you master it, like let's say video editing. Oh my gosh. I can tell you a list of 100 people that are looking for a good video editor, or someone that is a great content writer that could take those videos and turn them into blog posts and repurpose it into like 26 other pieces of content. There is so much that you can do. You just got to get creative.
That's it. And that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing. Unfortunately, entrepreneurs all too often like to just be creative. And right.
That's true. That's
So
true. And I would say that being on the corporate side, being on
oh,
the agency side, and of course with NLP, you know how things work and why they work, and you're able to model excellence.
there you go.
So when you know, and then you become an entrepreneur, then you know, like, okay, this is why I need to know where money is coming in and where money is going out, right? How am I going to leverage this for the next opportunity?
Yeah, fantastic. And another point on NLP, like if you're watching this and you own a business, say you already have a successful business and you have a team and you think, well, I've already reached a level of success. I'm kind of hitting that ceiling. I don't really know if I can go any higher. Well, consider learning NLP through someone like Stephanie so that you can take it back to your team. And what you can do is sit down and have what we call breakthrough sessions with your team, and then their mindsets will be rewired. And you will see incredible. I've heard so many stories of this, Stephanie, of others who had teams. If you're in network marketing, have a breakthrough session with everyone you recruit and watch them shine, the confidence level come up, the sales increase. And because theirs is increasing, of course, yours is based on the compensation plans that are written around it. So there's so many ways that you can use NLP. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to become certified in order to start an NLP business, although you could. You could use that, as I do with my team, with while I'm on sales calls, all the skill sets that I learned, speaking from stage. It's just something, it's a gift that lasts you your lifetime, and you can use it in so many different ways. I can't emphasize it enough. And that's what Stephanie did. She got her mindset set first, and then she broke out, as she said, of the corporate world. And look what she's created. I mean, holy moly, not only an NLP certification course, but also a whole digital marketing strategy company. And and you can intertwine them easily and effortlessly, can't you? That's right. Yes. Love it. Love it. So when we get into the body aspect of things, one of the things that a lot of people, unfortunately, will let go to the side is their physical health, because they're working so hard. And I've met many, and I'm no different at times, where I love what I do so much. I power through the day without ever thinking about exercising. And the thing is, you gotta prioritize it. You gotta put it in your calendar, or sometimes it just won't happen. But for you, Stephanie, how important have you found physical fitness to be to you, your business, and even your personal life now that you have that little one running around?
Yeah, it's 100% important. It's one of those things where, man, it's changed everything. And you're going to hear my little one over there. So
Cool.
she's here. But yeah, just maintaining your body is super important, because I didn't get into a business where I could be running on fumes, because at the end of the day, if I'm running on fumes, then I don't have enough energy to take care of them. And I want to take care of them. That's why I built my business. It doesn't make sense for me to build a business where, I'm so burnt out. If I create the systems, if I create the process that gets me to where I need to be, then I could still be fulfilled and still have that energy. And not that many people know this, but I've actually been doing Muay Thai kickboxing for like the last 10 years. And it's one of my favorite ways of staying in shape. And what I didn't realize was that when I knew how to defend my body, how I could be stronger, not only did I become stronger physically, but also mentally. And it helped me a lot in my career, because I could stand up for myself. I could stand up for myself. I could present my ideas and not back down. And it's just, I feel like when you are able to learn something like self-defense, right? I feel like my daughter will definitely do this too, right? I feel like when you learn how to use self-defense, then you come out a lot stronger. And there's a lot of other like different exercises. We talked about like comfort zones. There's all these different activities that I would do to take me outside of my comfort zone. Like I would go rock climbing, like just being able to get to like that next peak, right? I can't necessarily reach it, so I have to jump, and I just have to know that the harness is still going to catch me, but I just have to take that leap in order to get there. So body is everything.
He caught me taking notes. I almost didn't come back. And the last thing you said was the most compelling. All of it was great. That hit my head. I was like, oh, there you go. That's the one. That's the juice that people can learn from. And that is taking yourself out of your own comfort zone. And the key to this is doing it as often as you can every single day. Find ways to do it in ways that are beneficial to you, of course.
Yeah.
And the more you can do that, the more you will be successful. Because I like to tell a metaphor, and that's where, if you're in a boat or a ship and the motor's not running, the sails aren't up, and you're not moving, can you change the direction, alter the course of that ship while it's not moving and still in the water? The answer for anyone that doesn't know is no. And if, however, you have started up the motor, the propeller's moving you through the water, and you just happen to be off course a little bit, do you think at that moment you could actually turn the wheel and change course and point it more in the direction of where you want to go? Yes, the answer is yes. So those that are moving constantly, taking action, getting out of their comfort zone, that is a moving ship. It doesn't mean you will always be going in the right direction, because I'll tell you right now, I'll bet you Stephanie will tell you right now, she might be a little off course and she's looking to correct course. And then we correct and we keep correcting. We keep getting closer and closer and closer to that point where we finally hit the sweet spot. But then when you hit the sweet spot, something else knocks you off course and then you go back through it again. And so the beautiful thing is, though, if you're moving, if you're taking action, if you're getting out of your comfort zone, you are able to correct that course. If you're not moving, if you're not taking any action, if you're just doing the same thing every day, then it's going to be a tough road to hoe. What do you think of that, Stephanie?
I think that's 100% true. I mean, a lot of reasons why people are successful today is because they are flexible. They're flexible in their communication. They're fluid in their business decisions. They are always measuring what's working, what's not working. And for those that are just comfortable staying there, doing what it is that they always do and expecting the same results, they always say that's like the definition of insanity, right?
Yeah.
And so even when I have clients on the digital marketing side, they're like, we used to post this on social media and we would get so much, engagement. And it's like, it's not working anymore. It's like, so do you want to keep doing what's not working, or do you want to shift gears? Because the decision is yours. The choice is yours. Right? The data is there. So how much longer do you want to do that? Do you need another 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years? Or, you could do it now.
That's actually perfect advice for folks. And that's exactly, you hit the nail on the head. What happens in business? This is exactly what happens.
This is exactly what happens.
They don't work forever. They never do. They never have. Marketing always changes.
Yeah.
There used to be direct mail. Some will claim to this day it still works fantastically. It might. There's yellow pages. Those aren't even here anymore. I don't see them.
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you just want to be, you got to be flexible, like Stephanie's saying, and be willing to change your attitude, change your mind, and say, the thing is people fall in love with something so much, they get emotional and it becomes a little baby. Yeah, but like you said, but that used to work. I can't leave it. I used to, it's like, it's about getting the ego out of the way too. So many things, and it's all mindset. Every bit of what we're talking about comes down to this thing, that big, beautiful thing on top of your shoulders, that it is beautiful. Everyone's is, because it's uniquely you. And the beautiful thing is you can make the garden inside of there even more beautiful by pulling all the weeds and have nothing but flourishing, beautiful flowers. And you're just going to enjoy life so much more when you reach out to Stephanie and see how you can attend her upcoming NLP certification course. I can't wait to give that information out to everybody. We're getting there. I promise. So you've been at this for quite some time now. And so a lot of people who start a business, especially who leave corporate, that's a different mindset. Oh my goodness. And thankfully you went through NLP and that righted that ship immediately. But a lot of people who start out, they don't make it very long. Right. And so there are reasons for that. But if you were to know, or maybe you have one, do you think there is some kind of pattern or formula to becoming, not just becoming a successful entrepreneur, but sustaining that success and continually elevating it to the next level? Do you think there's any kind of thing like that, pattern or formula?
I think it's always important when you're running your business is to always be a learner You know, you're always constantly going to have to learn because things are always going to be shifting in your business, in your industry. The way that people act, their behavior is always going to be shifting. The way that we used to talk on the phone, I remember having a phone with a long cord that was connected to the kitchen, right? But now I can have conversations with a lot of people on social media, on a mobile phone that I could take with me. This is now like my mobile production studio in my hand. And I think when you are always curious and always wanting to learn, then you could always take your business to the next level. If you just stay in that one lane doing the same thing, then you're going to become the blockbuster of your industry, and the choice is yours.
I love that play on words. That was great. You'll become the blockbuster in your industry, which is a dual meaning, because Blockbuster Video, for those of you that may not be old enough to remember, was a video rental place where you could go get cassette or VHS tapes, and you would bring them home, you'd rent them, and then you had to bring them back by a certain date. And that's, of course, no longer around. We have on demand everything, but you could also,
everything.
you could also become a blockbuster success. And I don't think that's what she was referring to at that moment. That just made me chuckle. That was fun. But always be a learner. That's huge. Always. I mean, great. I love that. My mentor, as an example, by age, could literally be my son. He's 18 years my junior. He's the most amazing man I've ever met when it comes to mindset and success. And he walks the walk to this day. He's no longer in the seminar industry, but he's got a business that's crushing it right now, he and his wife. And age doesn't matter. Continue to learn. I learned from someone my junior, and it didn't matter to me. Yeah. What it comes down to, and I think this helps people get rid of their ego, I think, Stephanie, is if you concentrate on the results more than the process, then it won't matter to you either. And I could see with this young man, he had the results. I mean, I saw person after person in person, saying what impact he had on their lives. And I thought, okay, I don't care how old he is. I don't care if he's man, woman. I don't care what color. Never has mattered to me in my life. Never will. Results are what matters, and relationships. Yeah. So I'm glad you said learning, because you can never stop learning. And you should never stop learning. You should
never stop learning, and learn from anyone and everyone, like whatever age range they are. I mean, there's things that I even learned from my daughter and the questions that she asked me, because she doesn't have anyone that's like crushing her dreams. She doesn't have those experiences where they're like, no, don't do that, because she has this curiosity already built into her. She's like the perfect scientist, because she's going to have this hypothesis of like, if I do this and I try it, cool. What are the results? What's going to happen? And she's going to learn from it. Whereas if you try to learn from somebody, who's been in the trenches for so long and like, this is how it's always been done, right? They're no longer curious because they haven't tried it.
And I think that's huge. What you just said is curiosity. The most successful people on the planet are the most curious. And the interesting thing is when a lot of people will not ask questions, because what does that make them look like to the other person in their mind? Is not knowledgeable or not smart, because I keep asking questions. That means I know nothing. The opposite is true of those. For you to become successful is be curious. My mentor told me, his name's Mel Cutler, by the way. He told a story where he actually met Richard Branson, and they met in a hallway or something, if memory serves, on the story. And they came together, and Richard started peppering him with questions. And he's on stage telling this story. My mentor is Mel, and he's like, "Hey, you're the successful one. I want to ask some questions of you." But that was a great example of someone who has reached that level of success. And there's one reason why, another pattern. He is deeply, deeply curious and always asking questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. The worst thing they can do is say no. Successful people love to help other successful people, or other people that are trying to achieve success. It's the exact opposite of what we think before we make that first initial connection and talk to them. So just ask questions, be curious constantly. That will help you get a long way. Eliza's writing us. What's that?
ABC, always be curious.
Yes, absolutely. And I wanted to ask this one question. We're getting close to the end, and doggone it, I hate this part of it, but I love it at the same time. Don't I? That's right. So one of the lifeblood of any business, in addition to mindset and everything we've been talking about, when the rubber meets the road, the lifeblood of any business is effective marketing. And marketing is really, in a nutshell, getting eyeballs of people to your business and then taking them through the process of showing them why it would be a good fit. And you hope that comes out. Not everybody's going to be a good fit. And you can go through the language skills processes with Stephanie in her NLP course to figure out exactly how to have a conversation with your upcoming clients. But for you, Stephanie, I love asking this question because really when it comes down to it, again, it's marketing is key. How do you personally go about marketing your own business? And what would you say to date has been your most successful form of marketing?
This is the easy one. Live video has been one of the best ways for me to get on the Fascination fast track. Because when you're on live video and when you are confident on camera and people see the results that you have, they want to work with you because they're confident that you're going to deliver the results that you have in your business as well. And so live video is one of the best ways to get on that Fascination fast track. And unlike other people that probably go live every single week, I only go live twice a month. And every time I go live at the end of a broadcast, I'm either into another interview, another podcast, or I have a new client. And speaking of client, here is a little one that wants to say hi.
All right. Hello.
So that's my little future entrepreneur that will be coming up soon. Here, baby, you get her.
Oh, precious. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So live video, it's interesting you say that, being on one such thing right now. And the interesting thing is I concur with that. I mean, I've been doing this. I do it once a week consistently and bring phenomenal people such as yourself on, and have done it approaching 2 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and being consistent. And I can't tell you the opportunities that have opened up in front of me. It's a cumulative effect. So just telling everybody that, it's not going to happen after you do 5 lives. It's going to take time, maybe some if you're already an influencer. But for those of us others that are starting out from scratch, then just know that it's a long haul. Play.
I mean, kudos to you. It's amazing that you're able to do it like every single week. Because I know for me, juggling, family that just came through, right? And all the different aspects of my business, even with clients, it's, there's a lot. You guys that are watching right now don't know all of the hard work that goes into producing a show, right? Because it's not just about one live video. It's about creating a show that people want to watch every single time that you go live. And not only that, though, but even after the show has ended, you're still repurposing that content. Yes. And that's why people like Brian would be like, Stephanie, I see you everywhere. It's like the last event I went to was 2 weeks ago, but I'm able to repurpose that content, repurpose those interviews, and pepper it everywhere online. It's like bite-sized little pieces of Stephanie that you can get. And my website is the buffet.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I call a live video the genesis of marketing, the beginning point, because you cannot go any farther backward. Like if you have a recorded video and you're done with it, like you do it on YouTube, you can't actually you can't repurpose that into a live. Let's put it that way. With a live, you can repurpose everything from it. So you can do the written word, which you can on videos as well. You can do the recorded video. You can do podcasts. You can't really go much farther than the beginning of the beginning, and that's the genesis in its live video. And it is. And the other thing is, it's real. It's raw. Mistakes are made, and that makes you more likable inherently. Hey, you're human. They didn't edit this video. You know how you see people talking on YouTube and all of a sudden they're talking and all of a sudden their face is like this and they're talking and then their face is like this because they're editing those pieces out that they said, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying when it's live, it's raw and unscripted for the most part. And
it's one of those things where like a potential client will see you and they'll see how you communicate, how you're able to answer questions and solve problems in real time. Right? It's kind of like it's like a pop quiz every single moment. You never know what's going to happen. That's why people love watching it. And so, sometimes someone might ask you a question, you answer it one way. Another person will ask you another question similar, and you're not just going to regurgitate the same answer. You have to communicate in a way and be flexible in order to make that point made. And once they realize, like, okay, she's flexible in that communication, I want to work with her, right? That's the beauty of live video. That's like, and if they've been binge watching on your show, the second you walk into that pitch room, they're like, they've already got those happy brain chemicals. They're like, oh, I know her. I've watched all her videos.
Well, it's interesting you say that, and I'm not kidding when I say that anytime I see something of yours come in front of my eyeballs, I get that feeling. I'm like, oh, cool. I want to see what she says. Because you're always happy, positive. You just have this vibe that I want to, be part of. I want to learn from somebody who's got such a great attitude all the time and such a great energy level and such, look at that smile. I mean, how can we resist that smile, everybody? Come on. And hey, we've got several people on LinkedIn that have been shouting out. Brian Shulman says, yes, Steph. Let's see. Mike Alton, Stephanie Lou rocks. And he also said, I've been integrating Stephanie's communication recommendations into blog posts and presentations and more. So thank you both for coming on and sharing that on LinkedIn.
Love it.
And then our book writer is back. And she said, I do agree with live video. It helps a lot. Your daughter is so cute, Stephanie.
Thanks. I paid extra for that.
And then you must have paid a little more extra because she then said right after that, Stephanie has a very good aura.
That's all mindset, right? Perception is projection. So if it's all beautiful up in here, then it's beautiful out there.
Absolutely. We have just hit the end of the show for time, but we got one more question I want to cover. And I promised everyone that they could win a nice little vacation trip and take it after all this mayhem is over. So this one question, Stephanie, I end the show with this with every guest. I love it. It's powerful. It's deep. And it can be personal. And I cannot wait to hear what your answer is. But before we go to that, you like that open loop? Before we go to that, we are going to show everyone. Now, this is the time we give you the permission. You can now take out your phone if you're not watching on the phone already and take your gaze away from the screen in just a moment. And so you can do the following, and that is bring up your text app and punch in the number 661-535-1624 as if you're going to text a person. Instead of putting their name, you put the number. And then down in the little message area where you want to say a message to a person, you type in PEAK, P-E-A-K, P-E-A-K. So once again, that number is 661-535-1624 and enter the message PEAK, and you will be entered to win, which we do every single week, a 5-night vacation stay at a 5-star luxury resort in Mexico, or a resort of your choosing. There are many to choose from. And again, don't worry. You enter, you win. You can put off executing where you want to go until all of this fun stuff is over that we've been going through worldwide. And it will end. It will end. Yes. Yes. That's great. She's just been peppering. I mean, the whole comment thing is filled with Eliza. I don't want this to end me either. And, I was talking to Stephanie. I said, oftentimes we go over and do you mind staying another hour? And she says, no problem. I'm just kidding. She probably would. But she also has a giveaway here. So in a moment, we will get to that right after this amazing, very powerful question. And so before I ask you, Stephanie, I know you're a pro. You're not worried about it in the least. But here's the thing. With this question, there is no such thing as a wrong answer. It is impossible. In fact, the exact opposite is the truth. And that is the only correct answer is your answer. It's that awesome.
Nice
Are
pre-frame.
you ready? What's that?
Nice pre-frame.
Yeah, you like that. This is so fun. I love working with other NLP certified. Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Stephanie Lou, how do you define success?
How do I define success? Ooh. I would say that if you knew the values of what's important to you in your life, as far as your relationships, your career, knowing what those values are and hitting on those 3 areas, then to me, that's what success is. right? So are you fulfilling the values that's important to you about what makes life very fruitful? What's important to you about your relationships, whether it's with your significant other or whether it's with your family or even your clients? And then what it is that you love doing in your career, right? And so for me, again, this is something that like I didn't discover until I was doing NLP, knowing what values were important for me in those three categories of my life. And now every single decision that I make is congruent with everything that I want, right? Like one of the reasons why I chose to start my own agency or do my own NLP training is because I wanted the freedom and the flexibility so I could leave a legacy for my family so that my daughter, who you just saw, will still have that mastery of mind, body, and business. So to me, that's how I define success, is being congruent in those areas.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And we do have one more thing to give away here, but I wanted to also add that of the going on 90 guests I've had on this show, no two have answered it identically. And it's still the case. And I love the variety of answers that come. And the other thing I love is there isn't a single person that centered their answer around any type of monetary value. Success to me is when I reach 10 million, not a single person.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about the level of guests that come on this show. They're very into abundance and not into scarcity. They're into serving people first. And as a result, they make some thank you money. Yeah. Thank you for helping me. And here's my reward for you. And
yeah,
because of the things you do, Stephanie, my hope and wish for you is to become as wealthy as you desire, because I know that someone like you, people like you, and you yourself will take a good portion of that wealth and pour it back into your business so you can serve even more people and help even more people. And that's the beautiful thing. So always look at folks like Stephanie and wish them the best financially, personally, because then they can shine even brighter and serve more people. And then now take it into internal retrospection and say, how can I do the same for myself?
Yeah.
And surround yourself with people like Stephanie. I'm not kidding.
Invest in yourself. That's where it all starts, right? Yeah. It's not necessarily that you're giving money to someone. Money is money to me. And you probably agree with this too, that money is an exchange of energy, right? And at some point in your life, you want to invest in yourself because the return of that investment, that has a compounding effect. That's what you want to do.
Absolutely. And I wanted to really quickly, I'm going to show a couple of sites here and give you a moment to explain what we're looking at. Because I wanted to give you the shout out, share your gifts to the world. And the first one is the Lights Camera Live website. And I wanted to share that with everybody. And here you can see she's got just an amazing amount of things that you can go through, courses and training, and her Lights Camera Live, her main thing, speaking, collaborate. So what is this? What's the focus of this site and as it relates to your business?
Of course. Yeah. So Lights Camera Live is about, for those individuals that are just tired of being the best kept secret in town, how you can leverage live video to go from unknown to unforgettable. Because let's face it, now is the time for you to step into the spotlight. And if you need help with that, then lightscameralive.com has all of the resources that you need in order to get started. So whether it's learning how to set up your own DSLR so you could go live, right? You'll find that information there. If it's to launch your own live show and you don't want to go live to crickets, how do you get people buzzing about your show before you even go live? And then once you create that amazing content, how can you repurpose it? So that way you have content everywhere and it always leads back to your website. So that's what lightscameralive.com is all about.
I love it. It's a beginning to end, from the Genesis all the way through. And yeah, you can just look at this, go to the website and look at all of the wonderful things. You can see that this is a mover and a shaker, and she's not going anywhere, nowhere soon. So definitely check her out. And there's the website again. It's on the screen, lightscameralive.com. And then this wonderful, amazing young woman also wanted to offer everyone a little bit of a gift as well. So I wanted to bring that up and have you just talk through that and how folks can go ahead and do that and get that. So let's bring that up. There we go.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Now is the time for you to go ahead and take advantage of everything that we've been talking about. So the first one is a free course for you. It's Captivate on Command, How to Motivate the Masses Using Only Your Words. And this is a crash course into understanding how people communicate and how you communicate and why it's so important, because you're going to want to leverage those skills in any of your relationships, whether it's business or whether it's personal. So we talk about how you can motivate the masses using only your words. And so we'll talk about representational systems. We'll talk about a few hypnotic language patterns, pacing and leading. It is a fun, wonderful exercise. And it's something that you can do whether it's in person or through text message or even in an email. You're going to walk away with like so much information. You're just be like, wow, that's just barely the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more. There's always more, right?
Always more. And so to do this, the steps involved are so first go to this website. You see it on the screen. It's a long website, but I've also put it in the comments for those of you that can see those. We'll drop it in as many places as we can so you can get to it. If you need to, if we take it off camera before it's time for you to type it in and you finish, then just come back.
Take a screenshot. Take a screenshot.
There you go. Screenshot. There you go. We're talking to the master here. And so what you want to do is you want to type in this URL, and I'll say it out loud. It's lightscameralive.thinkific. So that's the word think with ific, like terrific, but thinkific, and one F. I just noticed that. One F, thinkific.com/courses/motivate-NLP or hyphen. motivate-NLP. So lightscameralive.thinkific.com/courses/motivate-NLP. And then when you go there, what do they do then, Stephanie? They click on this buy now button.
Go ahead and click that buy now button, and then
197. Okay.
And then it'll be easy for you to go ahead and create an account. So once you create the account, you put in the promo code and boom, you are in.
And that promo code is, you guessed it, PEAK. I love that promo code. I don't know why. There's something about it. That's PEAK. Let's put that out in the comments as well, just so there's no confusion. And that is on its way. I will come back to LinkedIn later and give you the URL. So awesome. This is fantastic. Thank you so much. My goodness. You braved the elements. You went through it. You powered through. You did an awesome job, as I know you would. I'm bringing up the beautiful background. Here we go. You are amazing, and I can't wait to continue to follow and see what happens next in your life, and would love to support you in any way I can. So please stay connected. Let's stay connected, and let's see how, I'd like to know how I can serve you farther to get more people, acquainted with you, connected with you. And on that note, what is the best way for folks to get in touch with you?
The best way to find me is on Facebook. So if you just want to type in my name, Stephanie Liu, right? Type in the name Stephanie Liu, you'll find my business page. And from there, you could just send me a direct message. So send me a message and then we'll chat from there.
Fantastic. So just go to Facebook, like she said, type in the word you see on the screen, Stephanie Liu. That's Liu in her last name. And click on the result that has Stephanie Liu on it. You'll see her picture. You'll know it's her.
You'll see the nice smile.
That big, yeah, that's right. That big, beautiful smile. Well, Stephanie, wow. We went over like 15 minutes. This is almost a record, but that's just telling of how much value you brought. And I cannot appreciate you more for hanging there with me and with us and everybody that's involved. We're getting, our superstar's back. Thanks, Stephanie. Eliza, she's just a commenting queen. I love it. And more on LinkedIn as well. Appreciate everyone who's come on. And I just wanted to say one last time, Stephanie, so much appreciate you. You are a light for all to follow. All you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, to become successful is model success. And we've got it right. That was too good. 2 fingers there. Yeah, is model success. And look, find someone that you relate with and then start reaching out to them, start serving them. Do it with respect. Don't just say, gimme, gimme, gimme. Go out and say, well, find out what their charitable organization is, their favorite one. Do some offer to help in that area. Do anything that will be of service to that person, and then that will grab their attention, and then go at it with respect, and don't always expect something in return. I helped one of my mentors for quite some time, and it came to fruition in the biggest ways I could ever imagine. Never, ever expect anything in return. Hoping, of course, that something would happen as a result, but I was learning so much on the job, so to speak, that I was getting plenty from it already. So it worked out. Yes, thank you, Eliza. My goodness, I'm gonna make her a superstar just by showing her name on here. So once again, we made it. We're at the end. Thank you so much once again. I appreciate you. Respect your time, everyone. On behalf of the wonderful and amazing Stephanie Liu, I'm your host of the Mind Body Business Show, Brian Kelly, saying good night for now. And everyone, please be blessed. We'll talk to you really, really soon. Bye-bye now.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Mind Body Business Show with Brian Kelly.